Good morning, everyone. I'm Danielle, and today is day 22 of my 100-day video blog. I hope you're well. It is September 12th, and I am at my shop. And I was listening to a podcast on the way down to arrive here, and she touched on a lot of themes that really resonated with me and got me reflecting on my past few years in my own family and journey and life, and all of the changes that I've made. And I thought I would talk a little bit today about self-love and unconditional love for self, actually prioritizing and recognizing my needs, because I definitely identify as a recovering people pleaser. So growing up, I don't know, there's not one single contributing factor, but I definitely was conditioned to do all of the things to make sure that other people were very happy. And even if that meant that I prioritized their needs more important than my own, my goal was always to placate and to go above and beyond. And in hindsight, it's clear to me that I would go unreasonably above and beyond just to ensure that other people were happy, even if it was at the expense of me. And then those dynamics, I see patterns continuing. I know that I've overcompensated and over-sacrificed for family members, for friends that really weren't friends. They were taking very much advantage of the fact that I would do this. Work relationships where I would overperform and not be reciprocally credited or compensated for it. I've even had circumstances that I've had bosses take credit for the work that I've done because it's been so exemplary and significant that they laid claim to it as if it was theirs, which is outrageous. And like a doormat, I took it and I didn't put up a fight, and I just said, well, it's not important. My needs are not important. It's fine. It got done. And everybody's happy, so therefore it should be good. I did it in my relationships, and I realized that I was giving a lot of myself to the point where when it came to my husband, my ex-husband, when it came to my children, I would sacrifice my interests and everything that was important to me in order to do the things that they wanted to do. And I would just say, well, it's not important. It's not important that I do that. Okay, I'll do this. Or you want to pursue this sport? You want to go on this trip? Okay. And I would just do it. I became a chameleon. And it's that conditioning of prioritizing other people's needs over my own. And then I guess probably 2015, I started prioritizing myself and starting to say, like, I deserve love and I deserve happiness and I deserve the opportunity to have myself prioritized and to nurture myself, because I was feeling so completely depleted. I felt an extraordinary imbalance between the giving I was giving and extolling and not anything coming back. Or my perception was that it wasn't coming back. It was just completely depleted. And that's where the importance comes from the term, you cannot pour from an empty cup. You absolutely cannot pour from an empty cup. And as I was running on fumes, I was overextending myself with work. I was overextending myself with the needs of my then husband. I was overextending myself with trying to be the best mother possible and do all the things and saying yes to everything, but yet feeling like a failure at everything or mediocre at everything. So you can't say yes to everything. And I was not saying yes to myself. And ultimately, that's not sustainable. And I had a massive adrenal fatigue and crash. And it just, I needed to be replenished and nurtured and nourished. And it really caused massive cause for evaluation across the board at all of the dynamics of every relationship, my work, my marriage, my children, my balancing of my schedule, my commitments and friendships. Was it reciprocal, or were there friends that were just taking, but then when the time came that I needed help, were they just unavailable? So all of that evaluation, I had to prioritize and make sure that I was providing love to myself. It's something that I definitely did not do, and I wasn't raised doing. I never felt worthy of love. I felt shame and less than growing up. I don't know why, but I have some suspicions why, but that's not the topic of discussion today. I felt less than, and I felt like my needs were not important. And because of the imbalance in my marriage, then that sparks resentments, and all of my character defects would come out because I would behave poorly because I was resentful of the imbalance that I was feeling. So I taught people how to treat me. So for all of those years, I let them know that it was okay to treat me less than, because I tolerated it. I accepted it. And I said, oh, it's not a big deal. Well, it is a big deal. And I do deserve reciprocity, and I do deserve respect, and I do deserve time for nurturing myself as much as I nurture others. And I think as a mother in particular, our job of caring for everyone and nurturing everyone and keeping the familial unit together and making sure that everybody's everywhere, plus working on top of that professionally, it's extraordinarily exhausting. And the whole concept that you can do it all, that's nonsense. You can't do it all. Something's got to give. So you're going to feel mediocre or less than at something, and something will be sacrificed, and you need to actually have time to carve out time for your own self, to nourish yourself, to treat yourself, to exercise, to eat well, to get a massage, to be able to meditate, to be able to have your own interests. If you paint, if you exercise, like whatever your interest is, it's important to have your own interest too. So in 2015, I really started to awaken and say, I need to start incorporating more things to replenish my soul and my life and my health. And that became my journey. But with that, when you behave a certain way throughout all of your life, and then all of a sudden you change your patterns, you're going to meet resistance. So it's not going to be easy, because everybody that you have relationships with, you're changing the game. And they're like, wait a minute, I don't like this. What about me? It's always been this way. And I say, well, now I'm prioritizing myself. And then that's across the board. So there was backlash from my marriage, there was backlash from my children, there was backlash from my job, there was backlash from friends. Whereas I was always the one doing, and I'm like, I can't do it, and I had to say no gracefully. But I was honoring myself for the first time in my life. And I know a lot of people struggle with this very topic. And I had to forgive myself for certain things that I had done in the past, for not being good to myself, because it would just lead to a negative, nasty cycle. I mean, because I felt the imbalance, I grew resentments. So I would act out and have like temper tantrums, and it would bring out my worst character defects, if you will. Everybody has them, but I would get snappish or not nice. And then that led to fighting. But guess what? Kids noticed that. My ex-husband noticed that. I noticed that. And I really had to evaluate, like, was this suiting my life? And can we learn to adjust so that there's restored balance? Or was the dynamic so far disparate that we couldn't come together to find that equilibrium again? Ultimately, for us, we decided to divorce. And, we said, okay, well, I decided it was best for the children to know that you have to honor yourself, and even if that means living in two separate houses or two, being happier apart rather than snipping at each other and remaining in a marriage. Like that whole belief that, stick together for the kids. Well, if the dynamics aren't healthy and it's causing fighting or discomfort in the household, what example are you teaching your children? Because they're witnessing the dynamics of a relationship. So do you just tell kids, like, you stay together no matter what, even if it's not happy and if there's fighting? Or do you say, sometimes in life that unexpected changes happen, and it's okay to make decisions with a fresh perspective based on the circumstances of today. So I know this is very personal. I'm not getting into too much detail, but I think they're really important topics, because the old way of doing things is, you stick it out for the kids. Well, if you see your own parents living in stress and fighting or non-communication or whatever, the dynamics are not healthy, they'll emulate that because that's what they see and that's what they know. So then they believe that that is how relationships should function. But I believe that relationships should be a sharing of life with somebody that you truly respect and enjoy, and that you have fun with, and that you laugh with, and that you experience life with, and that they have their interests and you have your interests, and you can take interest in each other's hobbies and support each other, but you don't even have to be enmeshed in the other. They should be respected and shared and supported, and everybody together can talk about the things that interest them and have a harmonious dynamic of family and enjoyment of relationship. So I know it's idealistic, but I do believe it's possible. It takes work and open communication. So ultimately, I've been talking with my kids about life. They're teenagers now, and they're starting, to explore dating, and I say, spend time with people that make you happy. So they witnessed the fighting. They see everything. So it's really important to stand in integrity with what you need to do in your own best interest, with compassion and caring and communication. But ultimately, honor yourself, honor your truth, and love yourself, because you deserve love. You are worthy. You are a beautiful person that is equal to everyone. You are not less than, and you deserve somebody that's going to treat you with joy and love and excitement if you are choosing to be companions with each other. And if not, that's okay, because then they're not your person. So maybe a person's still out there. And even if they're not out there, you're okay with yourself because you love yourself. So you're whole in and of yourself. You don't need somebody else. You might want somebody else to share your experiences with, but it's not a hole that you're looking to fill with somebody else, because you love yourself and you're honoring yourself. And I think that's a really important message to teach your kids and for everyone to experience and to feel and to show that it is possible. It is possible to have healthy relationships. You have to honor yourself, and then you'll find somebody that's like-minded, that honors themselves, and you can have a lot of fun. So, those are my thoughts for today. Go love yourself, nourish yourself, treat yourself, indulge yourself to something that you don't normally do because you deserve it. All right, have a great day. See you tomorrow. Bye.